Keep yourself in the loop of everything football. Listen to Alex and Jeremiah on the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast.
Hello there, I'm Jeremiah.
I am Alex, always and forever here.
Dedicated to college and NFL football. The latest football news on and off the field. NFL draft trade rumors. We've got you covered from the NFL, Big Ten, SEC, Big 12, Pac-12, ACC, and everything else in between. Listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast.
Thank you for tuning into the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast, where we'll discuss the latest news, rumors, and games of the NFL and college football. From the latest science dishes, breakout stars, and all the news in between. As always, I'm Jeremiah.
And I'm Alex.
And I'm Anthony.
Welcome to the show. Jeremiah, you were gone yesterday.
Hey. I was a little bit under the weather.
How you feeling?
Feeling a lot better.
Yeah, that's good. I feel a little crummy. I hope I didn't get what you had.
No, you did not want me to come in here yesterday. You know, head was hurting, stomach was hurting. So I literally...
No, just that. Just
yeah. I couldn't get out of bed, and I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just not going to come.
Yeah. I understand that.
Yeah.
I had a little trouble waking up this morning, too, but that's because my alarm didn't go off, so...
I have to drink coffee, and I couldn't drink coffee yesterday. That's how you know when I'm sick. I can't drink coffee in the morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
I suppose. I mean,
yeah.
I don't have that issue. I don't really drink coffee.
Well, I drink it like all the time, you know.
I know. You drink a lot of coffee.
I think I drink too much.
You make up for us because I don't drink coffee either. It's just one of those things. I don't know. I never got into it.
Yeah, I mean, I used to work at Starbucks, and I definitely...
Oh, that'll kill it.
I did enjoy it.
Yeah, I worked at
KFC. I didn't like it going into it, so...
I worked at KFC. I can't have any kind of, like, fried chicken now. It's just killed everything for me.
What about coleslaw?
Coleslaw? What is it?
Coleslaw.
Nah, but I never liked coleslaw.
Yeah! Got him. Coleslaw. I don't like it in the first place, so I don't want it.
Yeah.
I remember I used to work at Little Caesars back in the day, and
really?
I got tired of like being around that pizza.
Yeah.
Like I can eat pizza,
well,
I just couldn't eat Little Caesars.
Pizza is so. What's the word I'm looking for? Cheap.
There's someone.
Yeah, there you go. Best word.
I mean, it's cheap. I mean, it's nice when you only have like $5 or like $7 and you want like pizza and soda.
Sure.
Then you're in a good spot, but it's cheap pizza. Like it's not horrible.
No.
It's I mean,
fine.
The pizza that I put my heart into there, Little Caesars pizza, is the deep dish bacon wrap pizza.
Oh, okay. I have not had that yet.
You know, maybe have it once.
And that's it?
Maybe once a year.
Sure, yeah.
You don't need that much
no.
sodium.
You do not. You don't even need that in one meal.
Yeah, luckily I didn't eat it by myself. My buddy and I, that was kind of our thing. We would... I did a podcast with him also. I've told you about this one before, my personal podcast that I do. And on days that we'd hang out during the week, whether we were reading up on stuff we were doing for the show or playing games or whatever exactly we were doing, we would be hanging out most of the day, and we'd go get that pizza. And so I didn't eat it all myself, but
you know what?
You don't need all that.
The reason why I always kind of hated Little Caesars pizza is because it's probably like the only pizza that I can eat by myself, and that's not good.
Yeah, it's because,
because
a large has like 6 pieces.
It has like 8. So, yeah, and then that's not good. It's not going to eat that much cheese.
Well,
no. How much pepperoni as well.
I love cheese.
I do too, but not like that.
I love cheese. Cheese is my thing.
Cheese is your thing.
Cheese is my thing. Yeah. Cheese is
What kind of cheese? What's your favorite cheese, Alex? Since you're such a huge cheese guy.
Queso.
No.
I love queso cheese.
It really depends on what I'm eating. You know, I love burgers with Swiss. I love burgers with cheddar.
Swiss.
I love mozzarella. My favorite food is chicken parm. So mozzarella.
That's good.
It just depends on what I'm eating.
What kind of mozzarella? Do you like the shredded kind, or you like the fresh kind, the one that comes in that little like ball kind of?
Again, it depends on what's getting put on. Like
okay.
I like full mozzarella more than I like shredded mozzarella if we're talking like chicken parm, because it's not the same. Not the same if you ask me. So yeah, I like a lot of cheese.
Yeah, it's not the same.
Anyways, let's talk some football. Actually, we have the Thursday night to talk about tonight between the Dallas Cowboys and the Minnesota Vikings. We have the final drive to end the show, and in between, we're going to talk some Houston coaching news as well. But let's start with Thursday night football, and that is the Dallas Cowboys, the 10-1 Dallas Cowboys, taking on the Minnesota Vikings, who sit at 6-5. You know, Jeremiah, it was surprising to myself and Anthony when we were doing the sports show and we were talking about this game. But the Vikings on ESPN's matchup predictor are actually favored in this game, 62 to 37.7. I don't see how those percentages don't add up. But anyways, I don't know if it's at home, because the Vikings are 4-1 at home.
The Vikings are at home.
They are. But I'm saying, I do know that it's at home. I don't know if that's the reason. The Vikings are 4-1
it could
at
be.
home, but at the same time, the Cowboys are 5-0 on the road. I don't know if it's the defense. So this is kind of one of the better defenses to play the Cowboys in a while. But at the same time, the Cowboys are averaging less rushing yards per game and barely more passing yards per game defensively than the Vikings. So it's confusing to me in this one. What is your take on this game?
Yeah, I don't understand that matchup predictor as well that we just talked about. Because the Cowboys are a clear-cut favorite team. I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah.
And the thing is, both of these teams, they each had a week to prepare. Remember, they didn't play on Sunday. They both play on Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. So these teams are going to play at full strength, so I do think we're in for a pretty good game. I expect it to be a tough matchup. The Cowboys are playing a very tough defense. But I want to know how this offense is going to respond. Like, how are they going to play? The Cowboys' defense is pretty consistent this year, too. I don't think their defense is being talked about a lot. Everyone's been talking about Dak and Ezekiel Elliott and now offensive line. No one's talking about how this defense has been playing.
Yeah, the defense has been a lot better this year. I don't know what their numbers are statistically, in the NFL, but as it stands, they're averaging only 81 yards a game against the run, and against the pass about 288. Now, that's lower for the Vikings at 226, but the Vikings are giving up about 100 yards a game rushing, which is right now is about what Ezekiel Elliott's averaging. I think he's had back-to-back games at just shy of 100 yards. So who do you have in this game, personally? Who do you take in this one?
I'm taking the Cowboys.
Yeah. Makes sense. Anthony, what is your take on this?
So you're talking about with Dallas how, they are defensively. So they're 30 or 29th right now as far as passing defense goes, as far as yards allowed. But rushing defense are actually third, which I guess doesn't really help against Minnesota because they don't run the ball anyway. So that's probably going to stay in that range. I do think with this game, the predictor, cool, awesome. Minnesota's favored. That's fantastic. But with Ezekiel Elliott, as we talked about before, we think maybe this is the first time because they're actually a really good defense. First time Elliott or Prescott will actually face somebody because they face teams like the Packers or the Steelers or the Niners or the Bengals, something like teams that aren't exactly defensive juggernauts, things that some are okay, like the Bengals defense is good in the past, or the Ravens defense right now is probably the best that they faced. But now you actually have a really good defense going against people like Harrison Smith and them. So maybe the first time that Elliott and Prescott maybe actually has a few interceptions for Prescott or a fumble or two for Elliott. Maybe he only has 60 yards. But all of that being said, I still think you talk 10-1. They're still the best team in the NFC. I still would favor them and take them in the game. I still would take the Cowboys.
What's interesting in this one, as you look at the numbers, Dak and Sam Bradford pretty similar to 2008-35 for Dak, 18-2 in terms of touchdown. 18-2 in terms of touchdown interception ratio. Sam Bradford, 2004-15, 12-3 in terms of touchdown to interception ratio. Their leading receivers, Cole Beasley, 647 yards and 5 scores. Stephon Diggs, 747 and 2 scores. So pretty similar. Mm-hmm. Then you look at the rushing numbers. You have Ezekiel Elliott sitting at 1,199 yards and 11 touchdowns to Jarrett McKinnon's 316 and 1 as the team's leading rusher.
Yeah.
That, in my opinion, is going to be the difference in this game.
That's what I said. The difference in this game, if you can't run the ball in the NFL, you're not going to win many games.
And not only can they run the ball with Zeke, they can pass the ball to Zeke as well. And then Cole Beasley's having a very good year. Not statistically amazing for receivers in the NFL in terms of leading receivers, but he's for a second, kind of third receiver on that team, his leading receiver is having a great year.
And you can't forget about Dez.
Yeah, you can't. Dez is very like my brother. He has him in his fantasy team, and I had him last year too, but he ended up getting hurt. Dez is very interesting in the aspect that numbers wise, sometimes he has good games, but it's all almost based off one big catch at certain aspects.
It's kind of like how the game he had last Thursday.
That is the epitome of it. My brother made a very good point where he goes, he is so frustrated because he has no numbers, he has one big catch, and he has shielded big numbers. But Dak, he has had an interesting year this year, I think, getting used to Dak and Dez. Dez, I don't know if I said Dak, but Dez has had an interesting year this year getting used to Dak as his quarterback, I think. And we've seen some throws that kind of look Romo-esque with the way he places them for Dak. I'm sorry, for Dez, excuse me. But I'm sure it's a change, Cole Beasley's kind of a slot guy. I feel like you're more used to the slot in a sense than having to get used to the quarterback throwing you the ball. Technically, not obviously literally, but to an extent, I suppose. But, excuse me, I have to go Cowboys in this one. I feel like they just have way more ways to win the game. I told Anthony I could totally see them just out-converting them to a victory, just doing more things correctly throughout the game that consistently will bring them the victory as opposed to blowing them out, I think they're more consistent capitalizing, completing drives and such than the Vikings offense is. So I'm going to go Cowboys.
Even the Vikings, their rush defense, they still give up 100 yards a game.
Yeah, that's
so
what I'm saying, yeah.
Elliott can still do that, and it's the thing of they talk about slowly, like keeping drives alive. Even if it's like a 3rd and 3, you give the ball to Elliott. Now you just got to keep going. I can see them, like you said, just kind of wearing them down.
Exactly, especially with the run game.
Yeah. And the thing for the Vikings the past couple of games, or probably the whole season, is that the defense has been on the field way too long. And that's what the Cowboys can do. They can make the defense stay on the field for too long with Ezekiel Elliott there in the backfield. So that has to be a main reason, well, not one of the main reasons why I think the Cowboys will win this game, and I think they should win this game. This is one of those games that the Cowboys should win, so no doubt.
So 3 votes Cowboys.
Dallas.
All right. That means tomorrow you guys will be back to do a lot of things. You're going to recap this game, and you're going to talk the college football playoff. College football playoff rankings and such in regards to the championship.
We're going to be previewing some championship games. Especially, we got one huge one tomorrow night as well.
We do. Tomorrow late evening.
And that is the MAC championship. I'm kidding.
That game starts. That's like a 4 o'clock game.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have the 6 o'clock game to worry about. But, you'll be talking that, of course. So don't forget to tune in tomorrow where they recap this game for sure, though. So let's go ahead and take our first break. We'll come back, and we will talk actually about a college football team that is actually looking for a new head coach and might have some candidates in them, some big names, as a matter of fact. So let's go ahead and take our first break and be right back here at the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
And welcome back to the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast. We're going to get into some college football talk. There is a vacancy in Houston. Tom Herman went to the Texas Longhorns earlier, I think, on Sunday. And now Houston is looking at 2 notable names. There's 2 notable names on the program's list. That is former LSU coach Les Miles and Alabama offensive coordinator Lane Kiffin. Yes. So these are 2 guys that have emerged as candidates. I kind of like. I heard that there's a lot of mutual interest with Les Miles and Houston, but that might be just a rumor. Lane Kiffin, I can possibly see him take that position as a head coach, because I really do think Lane Kiffin really wants to get back being a head coach in college football.
Oh yeah, no, he absolutely wants to be back as a head coach. But we talked about this in the other show. Lane Kiffin is the person you give like a little bit of responsibility to. You don't give him all of it.
Yeah.
You give him like small doses.
Like Josh McDaniels.
Yes, exactly. Yes,
right.
Perfect comparison.
You give him like, okay, you get this. You're great at this. Oh, I want to be the head. No.
Slow down.
Rein it back. Like, I want him to be the head coach of Houston just because I want him back as a head coach. That's all. For anarchy reasons, purely. That's all the reason I wanted.
Anarchy.
Because I think Les Miles will do a better job, because Les Miles actually has a national championship as a head coach.
Thank you for clarifying this time.
There-
Because I was like, hey, Lane Kiffin has a national championship
He does. He has a few national championships in a couple of different schools.
as a coordinator.
But yeah, like I think Les will be a better coach. Like if that happens, there's a couple of coaches that I just like want to be coaches. Like I want Jeff Fisher to stay a head coach because of 8-8. I think that's fun. I think that's just a nice little wrinkle to everything else like that. I want Lane Kiffin to stay the head coach because he's a weirdo and he just does like really dumb stuff sometimes. Like he did so bad at USA, they left him at the airport. They said, "You cannot come home with us."
I remember.
So like, he left Tennessee and they burned mattresses out in the streets because they were so mad at him. Oakland, they had Al Davis do a little slideshow of why he was so bad as a head coach. He just leaves everything just in chaos. So I want that to happen in Houston. I don't know why. It's just kind of like a nice little chaos thing I want to happen. That's why I love the University of Miami. But I do think Les Miles would be a better head coaching candidate, but for selfish reasons, I want it to be Lane.
Yeah, I think Les Miles.
Very selfish.
Yes,
I think
100%.
that was a really good reasoning of why you think Lane Kiffin should be the coach. I actually
Very
think
in-depth reasoning.
that was very in depth. I loved it. That was very good analysis there, Anthony.
Appreciate it.
But I do think Les Miles is actually going to be he's more of the guy I think that should be there. I wouldn't be surprised if Lane Kiffin would be the head coach if everything happens to fall out for Les Miles. But Les Miles going to Houston, that is really great. That's great for the program. The fact that these two guys are the candidates is really great for the program. It says a lot how far Houston has come as well.
Really.
Yeah, because it's still a good program. They're still a good team. They have a lot of talent there left.
I agree with you on there. I mean, I think they need to pick this next coach wisely. I think there's possibilities that they have to keep in mind. It's not like anybody can come in and coach these guys.
Right.
So I think they had a really good thing with Tom Herman, the way he coached them. It'll be interesting to see who they decide on. I don't know if it'll be either of these guys.
Yeah, you never know. Yeah, these can just be rumors. It'll be like some name that would come out that we weren't even talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that would be surprising. I think. Like I told Anthony this, if I was to pick one of these candidates that they're talking about, I would go with Les Miles over Lane Kiffin. He's got the experience as a successful head coach, as one would say. Lane Kiffin knows winning, but Les is pretty familiar with it also. So I would go Les. If I don't, I don't know if I want the upside. I think I want the maybe consistent recruiting in Texas, which he's always been good at.
Right.
And I think I would want the more established head coaching resume there.
Yeah, and there's also some interest in West Virginia coach Dana Jorgensen, but that seems very unlikely because Jorgensen seems like he doesn't want to leave a Power 5 job to go to Houston. But Houston, we thought they were kind of in the top 10 for the majority of the first half of the season because they had some pretty bad losses. But it remains to be seen. It's going to be interesting who they decide to pick up as their head coach of the program.
Yeah, I'm interested to see where it goes.
Yeah, because Houston can be talked about how they were kind of in the top level of the rankings in the beginning of the year because they kind of fell into that whole Boise State kind of realm where it's just even though they're not a big conference school or whatever, they still have the recognition. It took Boise State a couple of years to get the recognition, but as long as they were undefeated, they were there. Same with Houston, and if Western Michigan keeps winning, they'll have that same thing probably in a couple of years. But with West Virginia, we saw they just never got any love. They would have one loss, but they'd be way below teams that have 2 losses. So it was always kind of that weird thing where West Virginia didn't get any love, even though they won a lot of games.
Yeah, because I think everyone kind of knows who Houston is now because of that signature win, Week 1 against Oklahoma.
And
there's
they
a
won
lot
15-1 last year. Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's a lot of talk this is the team that can bust into the playoff bracket because they were number 6 after that week, and they were 6-5. The whole entire year until that loss against Navy, which was a pretty bad loss. But Navy has turned out to be an actual good team, so maybe that loss hasn't hurt Houston. But they got losses to SMU, and you can't forget they just beat up on Louisville as well.
True.
Beat up on Louisville. They were leading 31-0 at halftime.
Yeah.
So I think that says a lot more about Louisville than Houston, in my opinion. But
definitely.
But they're still a real good team, even though they had some pretty bad losses this year.
Yeah, I mean they're a good core team.
Yeah.
In my opinion, they did a lot right, and I don't think that's all Herman. I think there's has to go with the recruiting and stuff too. So, Yeah, I'm really interested to see where this team is at next year, And obviously I'm interested to see who's picked to be their coach.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would go with either of these guys, but if I had to, yeah, less Miles it is.
Yeah,
that just makes more sense as far as like how are you going to like explain to people. Like you said, he's been in the area, he's been at LSU, he's been at Oklahoma State, he's been in that kind of like Texas, Louisiana, Oklahoma kind of like area where it's a bunch of basically,
and it's less miles.
And not only that,
miles.
When in recruiting, when you have less miles, and when you're a high school athlete, or when you have less miles coming to you, you're gonna probably want to play for him as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
especially in Texas.
getting less miles to Houston is going to help out majority of ways.
It'll be interesting. Looking at Texas if they get less miles, and I'm sorry, Houston if they get less miles in Texas, having Herman now, and they're recruiting kind of battles in Texas.
Dude, that's gonna be insane.
That
would be insane.
That'd be insane in the membrane.
Yes.
All right. Well, let's take our last break. We're going to come back and we are going to talk the final drive. And we're going to get going. So we'll do that in just a minute here at the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast.
Are you looking for help for your fantasy football team? Check out the GSMC Fantasy Football Podcast. Get today's best advice on who to start, who to sit, even who you should draft. From sleeper picks to red-hot lineups, they got it all covered for you. That's gsmcpodcast.com/fantasy-football-podcast. We'll cover traditional leagues, dynasty, PPR, even IDP leagues. When you need fantasy help, there's just one show to hit up. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit gsmcpodcast.com for more info.
And welcome back to the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast. So, we are in a drive. Someone call it the final drive.
Oh, man, we are.
Now, we have a story out with Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning's not in the league anymore, but, he's still making commercials for Papa John's, State Farm,
Nationwide.
Nationwide, that's the one. And, still very relevant, so they're asking him, his thoughts, and he's talking about his little brother, Eli Manning, and how, he's basically kind of rooting for him, right? It's one of those things of where, you always want your little brother to do well, and the quote he said was, it's fun having a brother play, and you do feel invested in pulling for him, and I really have enjoyed watching him play this year. I really pull hard for him. Lies.
It's not lies.
Lies.
We're talking about this. Leave him alone.
No, here's the thing. I say it's lies for this reason. I know he loves his brother.
Yes.
I know he wants his brother to do well.
Very much so.
All that part is very fun.
Yeah.
Fine, everything else. Also, if Eli ends up winning more Super Bowls than Peyton, he hates him for that.
I don't think that matters to Peyton.
Yes,
no,
it does.
He's always going to have better statistical numbers than him.
Fine.
He's going to have more wins than Eli. He's going to have more wins than Eli. Eli spent a few seasons going 7-9, 8-8. Okay,
that's probably
he was like the Jeff Fisher quarterback.
But
Peyton never had that Brett Favre losing season to end the year.
That's
Peyton
fair.
never had a losing season except for his rookie year, I think.
That's fair.
I think his rookie year and
They won, like,
a
4
couple of
games.
his earliers with the Colts.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like most of his career, he's had at least 9 wins, if not maybe some 8 wins. He's gonna have more wins than Eli.
Okay, my point is, yes, Peyton will always be a better quarterback in most people's eyes, in everyone's eyes pretty much, than Eli Manning. Peyton will always be the better one. That's fine. Also, if he has more than Eli, or if Eli has more than Peyton, that irks Peyton because he finally got his second one to tie him, right? He finally, after all the time, finally got the second one. And if Eli just wins another Super Bowl, he's going to be like, he got more than I did. I'm the best quarterback. But how you?
So what you're saying is Archie Manning hates both of his sons.
No, because that's your
Archie
son.
Manning was never able to win a Super Bowl.
No.
So he wants to just get out of my
I don't even
face.
think he went to the playoffs.
No.
I don't think so. He was in an era of non-free agency, so he only played for the Saints.
Yeah.
No, I said that's different. And I say that's different because it's your kids. And you always want
I would
your
hate
kids.
my kid.
You always want your kids.
I know you would.
2 Super Bowls, you little.
You always want your kids to do better than you, right? You always want them to have a better life. So that's that kind of thing, right? So they're like that.
So you're saying Peyton's kid's going to win 4.
Yes.
I can't wait for him to play football. That kid's going to have a forehead and a hose. That kid's going to have a hose for an arm, not to mention a forehead.
Oh, the forehead. Oh, gosh. Oh, that's funny.
It's because he did so much film studies.
Yeah.
It just got bigger throughout all the years, you know?
It kind of grew taller.
His helmet got 2 sizes bigger. I'm sorry. Continue, Anthony.
Well, no, I'm just saying.
I don't buy it.
I think he roots for him to a degree, but I think
he wants him to do well.
I think he's also just like, just do not get more rings. If he gets more, because we're gonna do dumb stuff if Eli wins the third. Right?
People are, but at the end of the day, I'm sure he will be very proud of his brother.
He'll be proud of him. But they also had a panning shot, which was great in this last Super Bowl.
Yeah, his blank face stare.
Eli was
I was going to say the same thing. And people
made Eli's just like,
he made it out to be like nothing. I'm sure Eli, somebody asked him about it, he goes, I did what?
That's Eli's face.
And like the face. Yeah, when they asked him, I was like, that's just Eli's face, dude. Yeah. That's Eli face.
This has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but my favorite moment for Eli Manning, I remember that game when the Eagles came back from that 31 to 10 game.
The second miracle moment?
Yeah.
Sean Jackson.
Yeah, but the Sean Jackson game, that game-winning punt return. I remember after the game, Eli Manning had a press conference, so he didn't start it for a while because there was no press in there. And then there was literally like one reporter that walked into the room.
I remember this.
And then Eli Manning just started it.
Yes, with the one
reporter.
Well, no, Eli is basically, here's the thing with Eli. Eli is like the living embodiment of the dude that basically can get an A on a test, but just shows up and he's just like,
oh, hey.
Yeah, just by winging the test, right? He's one of those guys, right?
Like, he just showed up to Super Bowls and he's just like, I got this. Let's just throw to David Tyree, when I'm supposed to get
he played
tackled.
well in those Super Bowls.
He played well, but he also had Jason Pierre-Paul or Michael Strahan or whoever else for those 2 rings. But
Michael Strahan and Justin Tuck.
For the first
and
one.
then Justin Tuck and Jason Pierre-Paul.
Later on.
Real quick before we move on, Eli Manning to me is the NFL quarterback equivalent of Charlie Brown. Okay, that's Eli for me. So much of the regular season is him swinging his leg and missing that football, falling on his butt. Tom Brady laughing at him, holding the ball like, I got you.
Yeah, but Tom Brady's lost to him twice.
He's lost to him twice in the big game.
When it mattered, he finally
got that football and threw it in Brady's face.
Exactly.
But I just have to point that little moment out. That was my favorite Eli moment.
My favorite Eli moment is, I think I've told you guys about this before, is part of the America's game for that first Super Bowl they won. And Michael Strahan was talking, and he's talking about they played in England, and he had a running touchdown. And Michael Strahan said it took him 8 minutes to run that touchdown. He said, he's like, I took a drink. Put my drink down, took another drink, put my drink down, look over to the field. Eli's still running. So I thought that was pretty funny, but alas.
Yes.
Eli Manning's so full of good moments, man.
Well, he's just so pure. He's like I don't mean this in a rude way, but he reminds me of Lenny from Miles and Lane. He's just so pure. You know what I mean? He doesn't fight with people. He doesn't get angry, really. I mean, he gets frustrated when but
Lenny had the thing with the wabbits, so you probably shouldn't, have that either.
I'm just,
You said Lenny from Mice and Man.
I did.
That was a really good reference.
Thank you.
I didn't know we were gonna get that deep right here.
I just think he's like the essence of you have guys that are like frustrated and get angry. You have guys that like Phillip Rivers who trash talk. Eli is just so like shucks.
He's like, did we win?
We
won? Okay.
He's like Mr. Ed, but a person, not a horse.
Anyways, have Eli Manning face.
Oh, Eli Manning face is the best face.
Just Google Eli Manning face. There's the best.
So many possibilities. All right, let's move on from Eli Manning.
All right.
So let's go. I'll be quick with mine. Many people know that USC started the year off badly, but went on to win 9 games. Finished the year 9-3, and they're going to be in a pretty solid bowl game. Finishing, I think they're ranked 11th right now. They started the year with a quarterback named Max Brown, a redshirt junior who has graduated and is enrolled in his master's program. Well, unfortunately, he's leaving the school with the what's the word I'm looking for? With the emergence of young freshman Sam Darnold, redshirt freshman, who has played very well. He looks like the next great USC quarterback after this season. No promises.
Yeah, he's a big reason why they're so hot.
Absolutely.
One of the hottest college
teams. The guy's
teams.
not mobile. I mean, he can run kind of like Flacco can move, but he's pocket mobile, like Drew Brees, or Tom Brady, and he's very good at setting up in the pocket, moving around in the pocket.
He's only a freshman.
Exactly.
Too.
He seems very wise. He doesn't make many mistakes. He sets up in the pocket. He sets up new passing lanes, all this stuff. So I like him. Keeping in mind, but unfortunately, Max Brown is going to leave the school. He is not going to be with them for their bowl game either, unfortunately. But he, how most. Because a lot of these college kids, obviously, they're the generation now that are all very social media aware. He did this on Instagram, and he posted him quoting 4 years ago, when I signed to come to play at USC. I never thought this day would come, but the time has come for me to find a new home. I walk away from USC falling short of many of my goals, but I also walk away with a full heart, lifelong relationships, and memories that will last a lifetime. He has not said where he is going to possibly sign, but he did sign a permission to contact form. USC signed a permission to contact form, which is allowing him to go contact other schools. He has played very well at times. He played well last year. But Sam Darnold, that guy he looks great. So I understand it. Clay Helton said he asked for permission to talk to everyone. We granted everyone. So everybody in college football, from the tip top to the very bottom, he has permission to talk to. So I'm interested to see where he goes. But I know he's from California. I don't know if he intends on staying there. Maybe goes plays for a Cal.
Right.
Maybe goes and plays for a San Diego State. Maybe gives them a
Mountain West team.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a step down in a sense of
maybe
of
to Fresno State. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know the quarterback situation. So maybe
it's pretty bad.
I'm not going to put anything off the table. But it's unfortunate to see. But that's college football. No matter how good you are, there's always going to be somebody that's better. Joe Montana was great. People think Tom Brady's better.
Right.
You know what I mean? So there's always going to be somebody better. Unfortunately, this was a firsthand experience for him losing his starting job.
Yeah, him and Malik Zaire from Notre Dame are the two big quarterbacks, transfer quarterbacks, that is, this season. So I'm actually interested to see where Brown goes, and I'm really interested to see where Zaire goes from Notre Dame, because I think there's a report about Notre Dame not granting transfer to schools on Notre Dame's schedule next year.
Understandable.
Yeah, which I kind of get, but I think it was just a rumor, so I don't know. But it's interesting seeing where Brown ends up, because I still think he can be a really good college quarterback.
Yeah, I do too. And Malik Zaire too. I think in the right system, maybe an LSU type system, because he's a better passer than a lot of the quarterbacks they've had in the last, things of that nature. I think that they could. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see where these kids go. They're good quarterbacks. Anyways, Jeremiah, last but not least, go ahead.
Yeah, we look like we have one of the top running backs is declaring to enter the NFL draft, and that is Texas running back D'Onta Foreman. He's been quite a monster this year. He's leading the nation in rushing with 2,028 rushing yards, and
I read that somewhere.
And he's probably been one of the best running backs in Texas since Ricky Williams.
Yeah, I think he's the only other 2,000-yard rusher.
Yeah. And he even got some praise from Ricky Williams too, over the week.
Good job, man.
Yeah, something like that. I don't really know. I'm not really sure what he quite said, but he did get some praise from Ricky Williams, which is huge. Ricky Williams was a monster in Texas.
Yeah, he was.
And this is going to be a really good running back class, because remember, Leonard Fournette's probably going to enter the NFL draft with a huge coaching change and that they're making. And Florida
State. Sense.
Florida State's Dalvin Cook is probably going to enter the draft. So this is a really good running back class. It's probably the strongest running back class we've seen in recent years. Few years. Because the running back classes have been really weak.
Right. Yeah, you've had maybe one solid one. I say this is the best since, I suppose, Todd Gurley and Gordon, only because they're both 2 first-rounders.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think we got possibly 3 first-rounders here.
I don't know. I think Fournette might go second. I don't know how
because of his injury history this year.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd say Fournette probably second. I don't know how much Dalvin Cook is looked at as a firk round back. I
think Dalvin Cook's more of a mid first round guy.
Yeah, possibly. And then it goes into need. Teams usually in the mid have a solid running back. You know what I mean? Starting with the playoff, the low playoff teams, or the teams that just missed it. And then Foreman, I have no idea what his draft stock looks like, but. Yeah, I mean, I'm already kind of getting excited for the draft.
I'm ready for the draft.
This is where Jeremiah and I started this show.
I am around draft
I'm
time. So ready for the draft already.
I know you are, but that's because your season's over.
Yep.
As a Steeler fan and as a Dolphin fan over here, surprisingly,
we got a chance.
1-15, baby. Let's go.
1-15. Your hope.
15, yeah.
Anyways,
you got the one.
Yeah, at least you got the one.
That was the first game
Everybody
of the
year.
Yeah, I know. And everybody's like, they're not going to suck. I was like, calm down. Remember last year?
Everyone gets one except for the Browns.
So far,
yeah.
I could see them possibly hanging in with the
I don't know.
It's
so hard for me to not pick the Browns to win the game. But I just don't know when it's going to happen.
I might pick them against the Bengals. I'll have to see how the Bengals play.
And I kind of think the Niners have chance for 2 more wins because they play the Bears, and then they play the Jets. Yeah. After that, I'm not giving them any shot to win any other games.
Well, the Browns this week, who do they play? The Browns this week have...
They play the Bengals this week, don't they?
No, they don't.
No.
I think they do play the Chargers on Christmas
The Browns
Eve.
have a bye this week.
Oh, that's
do
right.
they?
So
yeah.
And then he's still going to lose.
Yeah, because the Giants play the Steelers.
Like
this week.
Pryor's going to get hurt
And
or
the
something.
Bengals
That's like the
play-
epitome of losing. A bye week.
Probably got hurt.
Let's see.
Trevor Pryor's he's been a beast this year.
Yeah,
at
next.
receiver.
So their next game is when they play in Cincinnati.
That's
I,
okay.
I could see. I mean, it depends on Cincinnati's game against the Eagles this week. You know,
Hugh Jackson
I
used to
see
be
them winning
used to
that
be a
game.
coach
I can
there.
really
The
see
Eagles,
that.
I
I can really see that happening because Cincinnati has not been a really good team.
Yes, and Hugh Jackson.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Hugh
Hugh
Jackson used to be
Jackson,
a coach there.
Mhm.
Yeah, so
Yeah, the
guys-
race for the number 1 pick is on.
It's on fire right
It's
now.
on.
Man, we put that together like a puzzle. All right. Anyways, we're done for the day. You guys will be back tomorrow, like I mentioned earlier, to talk tonight's Thursday Night Football, as well as championship weekend in the Pac-12, the ACC, the Big Ten, and technically the Big 12, Jeremiah, because we have Oklahoma and Oklahoma State at 9 and 10
Huge
playing one
game.
another. It's not a championship game because they don't have one, but that's important.
But it's basically going to be play like one.
Exactly, yeah. So the only championship game we have tomorrow is the Pac-12 championship
Well, we
game.
actually have
Technically
two.
speaking, okay, we have the MAC also with Western
We
Michigan.
can't forget about Western Michigan, man.
You're right. I'm
We
sorry.
can't.
I'm sorry. And so we have champion. That's how it is right now. As it lays out, we have tomorrow is Western Michigan and Ohio at Ford Field in Detroit. That's the MAC championship. They're playing that at 4 p.m. Pacific time. Then the nightcap, the 9 p.m. for all those on the East Coast, the 6 here, is the Pac-12 championship between Colorado, number 8, and number 4 Washington. That's at Levi Stadium, not far from us. It's on Fox, so tune in. Then Saturday is the big day of championships. We have the American Athletic Conference, the AAC. We have the Temple and number 19 Navy. That's going to be played at the Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium in Maryland. We have Conference USA in their title game, Louisiana Tech and Western Kentucky. And then we get into the big ones. The Big 12 championship, even though it's not championship, not official championship. However, the conference will be decided in this game. Oklahoma and Oklahoma State, number 9 and 10. SEC championship with obviously Alabama and Florida at number 15 at the Georgia Dome in Atlanta. The Mountain West championship between San Diego State and Wyoming, and that is at War Memorial Stadium in Laramie, Wyoming. That's far for San Diego State to go, but that's a home game there for Wyoming.
Yeah.
We had the ACC championship between number 3 Clemson and number 23 Virginia Tech at Camping World Stadium. That's a dumb name. In Orlando, Florida.
That's a dumb name.
Excuse me. And we have the Big Ten championship game to end it all. Technically, it's the last game, but at the same time as the ACC championship game, and not long after the kickoff of the Mountain West. The Big Ten between number 6 Wisconsin and number 7 Penn State. That's a very important game in relation to the playoffs. Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis.
Man, we got the ACC and the Big Ten
At the same time.
at the same. Wow.
I'd rather
Man.
watch the Big Ten.
Me too.
because I think Clemson's
feel
gonna
like
win.
I feel like it's going to be more competitive.
Yeah.
Okay, you're not going to be here. So
That's why I wanted to.
So who?
I just wanted to say.
I want to hear your picks, Alex, before
Okay.
we leave.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? We have paper here.
Okay.
I'm going to write it down,
All right.
and then you guys do the same thing tomorrow. Okay.
And we will.
So, do you want to do all of them?
Just okay, I'm not going to have you do the MAC. I'm not going to have you do Conference USA. Unless
And
you
not the
want
AAC.
to. Unless you want to.
I'll do them all.
Okay, go for it, Alex.
Okay. So for the MAC, I'm going Western Michigan. I'm just going to put their abbreviation. So WM. Okay.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I'm writing this quick, so it's going to be kind of messy.
It's okay.
For the Pac-12 championship game, I'm taking Washington. Obviously, put UW. For the AAC championship game, I'll take Navy over Temple. AAC is Navy. For Conference USA,
This one is a pretty tough one.
I'll go.
Yeah.
I'll go Western Kentucky.
Okay.
CUSA.
Yep. Yeah.
I'll go Kentucky. All right, now we're into the big ones. I got SEC championship going to Bama. Duh. I don't know who would shoot unless you're a diehard Florida fan. Mountain West, I'm going San Diego State.
Okay. Solid choice.
ACC, I'm going Virginia. No, I'm kidding. Clemson. Because duh. And then the Big Ten, I'm going to go Penn State.
What about Oklahoma and Oklahoma State? We kind of have to count that
Yeah.
because I feel like the conference title will be this. It will be decided in that game.
Oklahoma State.
Okay. All right. Okay. Pretty solid choices there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And Big 12. You guys will have to write down and let me know who you pick.
We
or
will.
Send me a picture.
I will probably write them down tonight before the show. I will.
put it right here.
You want me to write it down on that paper?
It's this.
You're going to put the one that goes in the studio? Okay.
Yeah, the please leave microphones where they belong. All right, anyways, we need to go.
Yeah, we
Thank you so much for letting me do my picks. That's nice.
Yeah, I had to. I wanted to hear what you...
Because the whole week, because we got to do the NFL picks with you gone last week, and I got to actually pick them, and I did very well. I was 13-2.
You did.
Take it, 13-2. Yeah. I think Ben picked 2, but I don't know how. I think he did actually kind of bad.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Anyways, we'd like to thank you, as always, for listening to the Golden State Media Concept Football Podcast. Tomorrow, you guys will be back, as well as Ben, to preview the games, and especially these games tomorrow. Can't wait to hear who you pick. Until then, though, we are gone. Thank you so much for listening. For Ben, as always, I'm Alex.
I'm Jeremiah.
And I'm Anthony.
And I'll see you guys next week. These guys will see you tomorrow. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy football tonight, and we'll talk to you later. Have a good one, guys.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.